Audio Jungle.
Task. Madam, do you mind repeating what you said? Task. Yes, but please don't tell anyone about this, especially my husband and my daughter. I understand. Then can we start now? It all started with a phone call. It was a call from my little sister. The call was made at night 3 days ago. Her condition was strange. Her teeth chattered, and it sounded like she forced the words out of her throat. I asked if she was sick, but she didn't answer me. She only kept repeating that she had been having this same dream over and over. Dream? Yes, a dream. She said that she often dreamed about waking up in the middle of the night, leaving her bed, walking down the stairs and stopping before the basement door of her building. It was very special and real. It was so real that it didn't feel like a dream. But your sister still described it as a dream. Why? Because her building doesn't even have a basement. The scariest thing is when she stood before the strange door, she had the urge to open it, and she disappeared. On the night she called me. So you came to me today because, Dr. Jiang. Yes, please continue. I dreamed of the door too, yesterday night. The recording ended, and the room fell into silence. Jiang Cheng sat before his office table and lowered his eyelids. The night newspaper of Rome City of that day sat on the table. Missing people report, Hu Yan, female 47, 160 cm tall. She has a square face and fair skin. Due to recent mental issues, she left home and disappeared at midnight on the 13th. She was last seen wearing a pink silk nightgown. If seen, please contact. His eyes skipped the contact info. On the left of the missing person report was a picture of a middle-aged woman. It was this woman who made the recording with him yesterday. Jiang Cheng didn't have the habit of reading the papers. The police dropped off the newspaper about an hour ago. The police followed the clues and discovered that Hu Yan had come to him one day before she disappeared. He told him honestly about Hu Yan's mental status and even told them the story she told him. He even gave them his files and the recording as evidence. After finishing the interview, the pair of officers, one male and one female, left. The female officer with the ponytail turned to take a few more glances at Jiang Cheng. This man who was about her age was too calm, no matter when he was interviewed or when he was telling the absurd story. Jiang Cheng stood up to send them out politely. Then, he retook his head. Fingers tapped against the keyboard. Everyone resumed like normal. Night approached, and neons lit up the city. Jiang Cheng glanced at the time at the corner of his desktop. He stood up and walked to his office door. He closed the outer glass door and then locked the inner door from the inside. After that, he took the time to brew some coffee. He walked to the sofa with his cup of coffee and sat down. He bought the sofa for his clients. Madame Hu Yan from yesterday and the two officers from an hour ago both sat on the sofa. The luster of the leather had lost its sheen. The armrests were cracked. Jiang Cheng reached into the gap between the seats and fished out a recording pen. The blinking light showed that the pen was still recording. He fiddled with the device using his fingers, and the officer's voice drifted out. Then, his voice followed. Jiang Cheng sipped on the coffee as he listened to the recording. Once the cup was empty, his conversation with the officers was also over. When he stood up from the sofa, his expression didn't change. He cleaned the coffee cup and dried it on the rack. He dried his hands and walked back to his table. When he passed the couch, he picked up the recorder. Business was slow recently, so Jiang Cheng had a deep impression of Hu Yan. Even though her story was strange, for Jiang Cheng, who had interacted with a number of patients with mild to medium paranoia, the structure of her story was more important. From his perspective, a normal patient would emphasize certain details, thus confusing them to grab other people's attention. Hu Yan's descriptions were complete, and the details were on point. She even remembered she accidentally stepped on her daughter's fuzzy slippers in her dream. The police also brought Jiang Cheng some new info. During their conversation, Jiang Cheng managed to surmise that Hu Yan's disappearance had to do with one of her family members. In Hu Yan's story, her little sister disappeared before she did. These two details confirmed the authenticity of Hu Yan's sister's disappearance. On top of that was the missing person report given out by Hu Yan's family. It said that Hu Yan had left her house in her thin nightgown. It was deep autumn. Based on Jiang Cheng's understanding of the madam, she was not someone who'd do something so stupid. This made Jiang Cheng believe that things were not so simple. Therefore, to preserve his brain cells for tomorrow and to protect his handsome face, Jiang Cheng put on a beauty gown and went to sleep. His office was split into 2 floors. The first floor was for business, and the second floor was his living space. The space around 30 cubic meters was somehow split into 2 rooms. As one went up the narrow stairs, one would enter Jiang Cheng's living room. Beyond it was the bedroom. There was no bed in the bedroom, only a thin mattress on the ground. Jiang Cheng lay on the mattress. The comforter was pulled to his chin as he slept soundly. After some time, Jiang Cheng's eyes flipped open. He stared at the ceiling as his pupils wavered. Moments later, his eyes narrowed into slits. He slowly sat up in bed. What was going on? His mind was awake, and he could feel every part of his body, but he couldn't control his body. Strange palpitations surged from his heart like something had been opened. First, his left leg left his bed, and then his right left. He stood up robotically. While his brain was going into overdrive, his body moved on its own. Forward, left, right, left, right. He walked to the bedroom door like a zombie, then the living room. His legs carried him down the wooden stairs. The old wooden steps made no creaking sound. Not only the stairs were silent, Jiang Cheng could not hear anything. The night was deadly silent. His eyes took in everything within his limited vision. The situation was dangerous and absurd. In the night, the familiar space looked unfamiliar. As his body took the last step, he saw a door standing before him. The door was pure black. The door was embedded in the wall. Down the distance was a bus station. It was empty. There was no bus or workers on duty. The sky was cloudy and raining slightly. A small group of people gathered around the spacious platform. There were around 5 of them. They should be travelers. The age of the station was visible from the exposed brick platform and the decrepit roof that was leaking in places. This meant that the travelers all gathered at the same corner to avoid the rain. Currently, the travelers were all looking in the same direction. In the rain, about 30 meters away, there was a man with an umbrella. The man was motionless and had remained like that for 10 minutes already. As the travelers whispered to each other, the man suddenly moved towards the platform. As he got closer, they confirmed that he was a man. He had a balanced body and a handsome face. He wore a jacket that was several sizes too large for him and a pair of patterned sleeping pants and cartoon fuzzy slippers. The slippers were drenched from the rain. They squished with each step that he took. Jiang Cheng, who arrived there in his dream, put away the umbrella and looked at the people gathered before him. A tiny and pure-looking girl asked carefully, "Are you new?" "Don't ask stupid questions." A muscular man with a bushy beard glanced at the girl. His eyes lingered on Jiang Cheng's fuzzy slippers for a moment before moving away. He looked at Jiang Cheng like he was assessing his prey. Then, he added, "An interesting newbie. He's so calm even though he's here." There were 5 of them in total. Jiang Cheng temporarily didn't see anyone else. Other than the pure girl and the bearded man, there was a woman around 35 with a pair of thin lips. The woman had a beauty spot next to her lips, and her looks were average. There was a balding man around 50 who looked rather salacious. Lastly, there was a young man who dressed like a government worker. His hair was smoothed down in place. Different from the others, the young man appeared like he had just cried. There were traces of tears at the corners of his eyes. His body was also bent over abnormally. Jiang Cheng scanned their faces before settling on the bearded man. Where is this? We call it the dream realm because every visitor came here through their dream. The man answered, through a black iron door that doesn't exist. Jiang Cheng nodded. This was similar to his experience. What do we need to do? Based on the scenario, find the clues and complete the mission. Try to survive. He pointed at the rain and said, the dream realm is merely what the first people who arrived here called this place. What is this place and why is it here? We can't answer you because we also don't know. You only need to know that once you open that door in your dream, you might see a village, a skyscraper, a forest, a snowfield, or even a wasteland. Everything that might appear in real life might show up behind the door. Everything in real life might show up behind the door? Jiang Cheng asked to confirm. Yes. Then, how is this place different from our world, or is the world behind the door our world? Jiang Cheng put forth a logical yet difficult question. Will you find another similar version of yourself in the real world? The bearded man said gruffly. His words sounded absurd, but Jiang Cheng understood it. Do you mean someone had encountered their doppelganger in the world behind the door? Yes. It was unclear if the man felt fear from talking about it or he felt it was a waste of time to discuss that with a newbie, but he ended the subject. So, will we return to the real world once we complete the mission? The man nodded and turned back to the rain. The rain turned heavier. The whole world was a palette of gray. Newbie. The woman with the beauty spot suddenly turned to him and said, "You will be wiped out in the real world if you die here. Aren't you scared?" To be precise, you'll disappear in real life, Jiang Cheng corrected. The woman slowly widened her eyes as she studied Jiang Cheng with interest. You're both new, but you're much more interesting than this trash who only knows how to cry. She gave the young man a side eye. The disgust in her eyes was plain to see. The young man shivered from her gaze. The woman scoffed before she turned back to Jiang Cheng. If you survive this scenario, I don't mind being friends with you. Jiang Cheng ignored her and turned to the bearded man. The man stood at the edge of the rain. His eyes wandered the horizon, and his brows were knotted in worry. You're waiting for someone, Jiang Cheng concluded. The man turned around and gasped in shock. How did you know? I also know the person you're waiting for is a fatty with amazing dexterity. Newbie, I'm more and more interested in you. The man's expression was beyond amazed. There's indeed someone who is still not here. That's why the mission hasn't started, but I want to know, how did you tell? And you knew details like the person is a fatty who is dexterous? Jiang Cheng didn't answer the man but walked to his side. He turned to a direction outside the station, cupped his hands around his mouth and shouted, "Hey, it's safe here. Come out now. We're waiting for you." As he finished, a man bounced through the rain from a few meters away. As everyone looked on in awe, he raced towards the platform. His rotund body floated over the puddles and leaped into the air before landing gracefully on the platform. Everyone was thinking the same thing, what a dexterous fatty. Once the fatty landed, he stared at the jacket Jiang Cheng was wearing. He was only wearing a khaki shirt and it was soaked. He was shivering from the cold. Can you? No, Jiang Cheng instantly interrupted the fatty and pulled the jacket tighter around his body. What is going on? The balding man asked from the confusion. We met on the road. I came to scout the way for him. The price is a jacket and an umbrella, Jiang Cheng admitted. The shivering fatty didn't look so well, but no one paid him any attention. Only the girl pitied him and lent him a thin shawl to put around his neck. All right, finally, everyone should be here. The muscular man took the leadership role naturally. The mission is about to start. Everyone, be ready. As if in response to the man, a ray of light came from the distance. As the light approached, it pierced through the darkness. A brand new luxury bus slowly eased into the station. Talk less and observe more. Make sure everything is safe before you do anything. Do not go off on your own. Before the bus door opened, the muscular man lowered his voice to whisper a few more notes. The woman with the mole couldn't stand the man's attitude, so she chided, "The rewards are proportional to the risks. If you want something, you have to pay something." At that moment, the bus door opened. A youngster jumped out. He had a crew cut and wore a blue shirt and bleached jeans. He looked in his early 20s. His mouth moved like he was chewing on gum. "Sorry for the wait, dear travelers. I was delayed by the weather. I'm so sorry." The youngster gave everyone a surprise once she spoke. She was a woman. The woman continued her self-introduction. "It is my honor to be the guide of your journey this time. My surname is Zhang. You can call me Xiao Zhang or Guy Zhang." "Guy Zhang," someone responded. No one called her Xiao Zhang. "All right, let's get in the car," Guy Zhang said politely. "The weather means that the journey will be slow, so we better keep a close eye on the time." Everyone got on the bus in the order of left to right. First, it was the muscular. Then, the woman with the mole, the young government worker, the balding middle-aged man, Jiang Cheng, the fatty, and lastly, the innocent girl. They realized there were other travelers when they got on the bus. A couple sat near the back. The girl was reading a magazine. Her boyfriend leaned against the window to rest as he listened to the music on his headphones. There was also a middle-aged woman and a boy sitting right behind the driver. They should be mother and son. However, the son appeared to be sick. His eyes wandered aimlessly. When Jiang Cheng walked past him, he noticed the boy's fingers were bound with bandages. Guy Zhang advised everyone to find a seat. As the bus door closed, she sat on the right of the driver. The muscular man sat behind the mother and son. The woman with the mole sat behind Guy Zhang. Jiang Cheng chose to sit 2 rows behind the couple. Once he sat down, a giant shadow came over. "Brother, let's sit together." Jiang Cheng lifted his head. As he expected, it was the fatty. He answered, "Sure, but I prefer the aisle seat." "That's fine. I can squeeze inside." Half a minute later, Fatty managed to squeeze into the seat. However, he still took up so much space that Jiang Cheng had to lean out slightly. The male worker tried to sit with the others a few times, but they all ignored him. In the end, it was the innocent girl who let him sit next to him. The middle-aged man sat in the last row on his own. Jiang Cheng turned back to look at him. He realized the man's face was extremely dark. "Brother, can you tell me what's going on?" Fatty leaned over to whisper, "I was sleeping, and then I was here." Jiang Cheng relayed the story he got from the muscular man to Fatty after adding a few more details. Fatty was so scared that he almost cried. "If I die here, my whole family will die in real life?" "That's right. How come you don't look scared at all?" Jiang Cheng turned around and replied in a straight tone, "Because I'm an orphan." The journey was peaceful, so peaceful that the male government worker thought he could survive this. However, the sudden break shattered his dream. The inertia broke the glass window, and the shards flew into the bus. The bus ran into something. The young man curled up in his seat and couldn't stop screaming. He didn't stop until the muscular man dragged him out of the bus and smacked him on his face twice. "If you don't want to die, shut the fuck up," he threatened. The male worker rolled up on the ground. He got up after some time and hid at the back of the team. The bus had crashed into a tree. The driver came down to check. The rain had caused half of the road to cave in. It caused the bus to slip and steer off the path. Thankfully, no one was seriously injured. At most, there were just cuts from the shards. The bus was stuck, but Jiang Cheng looked around. It was no exaggeration to say that they were in the middle of nowhere. There was only a straight path forward that led to the unknown. The rain had lightened, but it was still raining. "Travelers, I'm so sorry." Ai Jing came over, rubbing her hands. There were bits of blood on her arms. "It looks like the trip today is not going to happen." She had already apologized twice in the few hours they had met, but they knew she didn't mean it. To quote the muscular man, she was only an NPC. "How about this? I know there's a bungalow inside the forest. You can go there to seek shelter from the rain while we try to source another vehicle." When we find one, we'll go get you. Jiang pointed at a forest not far away. Even Jiang Cheng knew this was not a good choice. However, the muscular man and the others accepted it steadily. They walked towards the forest. The real mission had started. The atmosphere became more serious. Wait, Jiang called after them. She ran back into the bus to grab some umbrellas. Don't catch the cold. Thank you. The road was so muddy that if they were not careful, they'd slip. The group walked for half an hour before a 3-story bungalow appeared before them. The bungalow was sheltered by layers of foliage. It was very hard to find it in the forest. Is this place really habitable? The innocent girl asked softly. The bungalow was old. It hadn't been cleaned in years. Piles of fallen leaves collected around the front door. You can stay outside if you want. The muscular man walked through the rain towards the bungalow. Jiang Cheng looked at the man. His mood seemed to be shifting. Everyone knew that the girl was only complaining for the sake of it. However, Jiang Cheng picked up the scent of fear from the two's complaints and annoyance. After the rest followed, Fatty, who shared the umbrella with Jiang Cheng, urged, "What are you waiting for, brother? Let's go." "Okay." No one answered the door. The muscular man gave it a soft push, but the thick wooden door eased open a gap easily. The door was not locked. When the front door swung open fully, the group had a clear view of the interior. The spacious living room looked old, but it didn't appear to be unusable. A thin layer of dust gathered on the ground and the rectangular dining table. The plush carpet was laid under the luxurious sofas. The inside of the fireplace was dark and black. It appeared like there were ashes from burnt wood. Night had taken over this world. They shouldn't be able to see things so clearly, but the crystal chandeliers above their heads still shone. The refracted light cut the travelers into pieces. The bungalow still had a power supply. "We should look around first." The muscular man pulled back his gaze on the chandelier. "Stick together and don't split up." Soon, they found a lot of food in the dining room's fridge. There were vegetables, grains, meat, and even snacks. There was a basket of eggs in the deepest part of the fridge. They looked fresh, like they were placed there 1 hour ago. However, based on dust on the ground, that was impossible. The group's focus was not on that either. The man looked at the food, and his expression didn't change. Eventually, he merely said, "At least we won't die from starvation." Suddenly, the sound of water came from behind them. Jiang Cheng looked around and saw the woman with the mole twist on the faucet. Clean water flowed out. She turned the faucet off and looked at the others before saying casually, "We won't die from thirst either." After that, they found a lot of wood in a small room that felt like a storage. The woods were piled neatly on top of each other. The second floor was the living space. There was a main bedroom, a study, and 2 small bedrooms. At the end of the corridor was a locked room. It was clear that both the muscular man and the woman with the mole were interested in the locked room. However, neither of them made a move to fiddle with the lock. The stairs that led to the 3rd floor were blocked by a locked black iron door. The muscular man tried pushing it, but the door didn't budge. The group of people retreated to the 1st floor living room. The group had stayed more than half a day in this world. They were cold and hungry, especially since they had just trekked through the forest. The muscular man assigned everyone jobs. He and the middle-aged man would go grab the wood to start a fire. The woman, Jiang Cheng, and Fatty would make dinner. The innocent woman and the young man would clean up the place. Jiang Cheng looked at the table of ingredients in confusion. The woman smirked and then walked away. Thankfully, Fatty was a good cook. He showcased good knife skills and cooking skills. Soon, fragrant dishes were served. He even kindly fried an egg for everyone. The area around the living room sofa had been cleaned. Everyone sat around the fireplace and ate, holding their bowls. The fire in the fireplace crackled. After dinner, they started to discuss the mission. However, the discussion only ended with the muscular man and the woman with the mole arguing. This was inevitable. The mission had just started, and they had very few clues. The two of them were also the most opinionated. Based on the way they carried themselves, they had completed several missions already. The night deepened. The muscular man wanted everyone to sleep in the living room, but the woman insisted that they use the second-floor bedrooms. Her reason was that there might be clues there. In the end, the two left with dissatisfaction. The innocent girl chose to go with the woman. They walked towards the stairs. As they were about to get on the steps, the male government worker rushed to join him. Jiang Cheng believed that the two slaps from the muscular man had scarred him. Just like that, the muscular man, the middle-aged, balding man, Jiang Cheng, and Fatty stayed in the living room while the other three went upstairs to the bedroom. Idiots! The muscular man looked at them and cursed under his breath. The people in the living room were all dudes. There were 3 long sofas. One of them would take a sofa each, and the last person would stay up to keep vigil. The muscular man offered to take the first shift. Then, he took out a pocket watch from his chest. He flipped it on and placed it on the small table in the middle. It's around 10 p.m. now. The sun will rise around 6 a.m. That's 8 hours. There are 4 people here. Each person will stay on watch for 2 hours each. That way, everyone will have ample time to rest. No one objected to it. The muscular man's arrangement was very reasonable. Just as the man finished, he saw Fatty look at the watch on the table with a strange gaze. Stop looking. The time is not accurate. The man explained, any watches or clocks brought into the dream realm would be broken. The only function it has now is to record time. The time on the watch was 4:18 p.m. That was clearly untrue. Since Jiang Cheng and Fatty were both new, the muscular man added more explanations. He told them what kind of situation happening in the dream realm that violated normal scientific knowledge could be expected. What they needed to do was to look through the anomalies, search for the hidden clues, solve the mission, and leave the dream realm. Jiang Cheng raised his hand. The muscular man looked at him and asked, "Do you have a question? Since you've already escaped from the dream realm before, why do you come back?" Because the dream realm will always be present. Once you've opened that dream, it will always be there for you until you die. By the way, the muscular man remembered something. The full name of the dream realm is the Nightmare Realm Barrier. Barrier? Yes, it is like a barrier wall that separates the real world and the false world. No matter how heavily you've injured yourself in the dream realm, as long as you still have a breath left, you will be returned to real life unscathed. He chuckled bitterly. Isn't that an appropriate name? Then, how can we fully leave this realm barrier? The one who spoke was the balding man. His voice was hoarse and gave people an uncomfortable feeling. The muscular man glanced at him and said, "Don't ask stupid questions. You're not new. You should know that your question is similar to asking which timeline this world is on. It's an unanswerable question." The middle-aged man darkened his face and stopped talking. Jiang Cheng raised his hand again. The muscular man was helpless as he turned to him. "Just ask if you have a question. There's no need to raise your hand. We should be sometime between the end of March and the middle of September in 2006, Jiang Cheng said sincerely. The muscular man was startled. The person who reacted similarly was the middle-aged man with his head lowered. Fatty also looked at Jiang Cheng in confusion. They had no idea what he was talking about. "How can you tell?" the muscular man asked. Jiang Cheng took out a small bag from his pocket. When he moved it closer, the rest could see that it was a small bag of bread. Jiang Cheng turned the bag over and pointed at a small detail. Production date 18 March 2006. Preservation period, 6 months. Jiang Cheng opened the bag with everyone watching. He tore off a piece of the bread and tossed it into his mouth. He chewed for a while and swallowed. He thought about it and commented, "It has a nice chew and is quite fluffy. The moisture is still there. Considering it was stored in the fridge, I believe we're in the earlier months of 2006. The middle-aged man turned to look at the muscular back, but was glared back. The encounter ended awkwardly. The muscular man stood up and offered to start the watch. He urged the rest to sleep early. The muscular man's vigil would go from 10 p.m. to 12 midnight. There were 6 hours left after that. After discussing with the rest, Jiang Cheng would stay up from 12 midnight to 2 a.m. The middle-aged would take the shift from 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. Fatty would stay up from 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. The muscular man found a thick blanket and settled down beside the fireplace. The flame cast his face occasionally in the shadow. Jiang Cheng lay on the sofa next to Fatty's. The middle-aged man stayed on the other side of the living room, away from them. "Brother," Fatty stretched his neck over to whisper, "are you asleep?" Jiang Cheng turned around to show him his back. Jiang Cheng stayed up for the 2 hours the muscular man took the vigil. Other than the sound of wood burning, nothing happened. When it was time, the muscular man walked over to wake up Jiang Cheng. "Be on alert when you're on the watch. Shout to wake us up if something happens." The muscular man added as if in worry, "Those things have a higher chance of happening after midnight." "What things?" Jiang Cheng stood up to ask. The muscular man's face dimmed, but he still answered in a whisper, "Supernatural things." After a quick exchange, the man took the sofa Jiang Cheng vacated. Jiang Cheng walked over to the fireplace and continued the shift. The surrounding was quiet. Other than Fatty's occasional snores, there was no other sound. The middle-aged man and the muscular man had their eyes closed. They looked like they were asleep, but Jiang Cheng suspected they were just pretending, like how he had been earlier. 2 hours later, Jiang Cheng walked to the other side of the living room and shook the middle-aged man awake. They didn't have much time to talk. Jiang Cheng went back to sleep while the middle-aged man took a few sips from the bottle of mineral water and went to the fireplace. He added some firewood to the pile and sat before the fireplace. He held the pocket watch in his palm. The middle-aged man's experience was not as bountiful as the muscular man and the woman, but he had escaped twice from the mission. Therefore, he knew about the supernatural things the man mentioned and how scary they were. Similar to Jiang Cheng's guess, the middle-aged man had been awake since the muscular man held watch. He was wary of bad things that might happen. 1.5 hours passed, and nothing happened. During this period, he added more wood to the fire. The fire burned brightly. It warmed the middle-aged man as if it could chase the chill in his heart away. The 2 hours were soon up. His shift was over. He slowly stood up and turned to look out the window. Through the gap in the curtain, the sky appeared brighter. People in the nightmare were averse to the night and loved the day. The middle-aged man was no exception. As he worked the kinks in his limbs before calling Fatty, he suddenly had the urge to pee. It even caught him off guard. He stared at the bottle of water. Did he drink too much? The arrival of dawn made him feel better. He turned around. The toilet was in the corner of the living room. It was less than 20 meters from where he was. His eyes focused on the toilet, slowly changing. The sense of alertness slowly subsided. Following it was an inexplicable sense of familiarity and security. He licked his lips and turned to look at his sleeping mates. He did a mental calculation. If he took a toilet break, he would come back in time to wake up Fatty. It should be fine. He pushed on his glasses and slowly moved towards the toilet. He carefully opened the door and left it open. After all, it was all males in the living room. He gave it a good shake and felt better when it was over. To be honest, both his stamina and energy were at their limits after 6 hours of staying awake. After all, he was not young anymore. The middle-aged man sighed as he studied his tired face in the mirror. He removed his glasses, twisted open the faucet, and splashed his face with cold water. The chill cut through his senses. It woke him up. Just as he was about to take a second splash, he glanced from the corner of his eyes and realized there was someone standing behind him in the mirror reflection. The person sidled behind him without making any sound. "Who is it?" The shock lasted less than a second. Soon, the man calmed down. Even though he didn't have his glasses on and couldn't see the person's face clearly, the rotund body exposed the man's identity. "It's me." After hearing Fatty's voice, the man calmed down. Then, he groused, "Say something next time. Do not appear behind me so suddenly." The middle-aged man wiped his face with his sleeve. Then, he put his glasses on. He turned around as he shook the water off his hands. The moment he fully turned around, the chill crawled from his feet to his head. Ice crystals seemed to form in his blood vessels. There was no one behind him. Where was Fatty? His eyes reddened. Subconsciously, he wanted to turn around to check the mirror, but he failed because something landed on his shoulders. The sun rose. The three who stayed on the second floor had the same system as the people on the first floor. A person took a shift to keep watch. The male worker at the corner of the bedroom just wanted to stretch and yawn when he was interrupted by a shrill scream. He was so shocked that he almost fell down from the chair. The woman and the girl who were sleeping on the bed were woken up by the scream. They shared a look and then rushed downstairs. Jiang Cheng and the muscular man stood beside Fatty. Fatty was slumped on the ground. It was clear where the scream came from. The three of them looked at the toilet in the corner. There was fear, anxiety, and confusion. The woman with the mole looked around. When she failed to find the middle-aged man, her heart was prepared. She shook the innocent girl's hand off and walked to the toilet alone. The toilet door hung open. She stood at the door and took a quick glance inside. Even though she was prepared, she sucked in a cold breath. The middle-aged man stood rigidly before the mirror. His body faced the door and away from the mirror. However, his head was twisted 180 degrees to look at the mirror behind him. In the mirror reflection, the middle-aged man's eyes bulged like they were about to fall out of the sockets. After they calmed down, the man and then the muscular man moved to examine the middle-aged man. Jiang Cheng followed after watching for a few seconds. He stood outside the door to look in. The woman moved her hand away from the man's neck and concluded, a giant force snapped his neck. This was something evident. He was given the fright of his life right before his death, the muscular man added as he looked at the middle-aged man's eyes. After inspecting the body, the three exited the toilet. No one felt good dealing with such a creepy corpse. The time of death is within the last 3 hours. The muscular man glanced at the pocket watch and said confidently, "So, it was between 2 a.m. and 5 a.m. How can you tell?" The man glanced at the innocent girl who asked the question. He told them about the night watch shift and showed her the watch. It showed that 7 hours had passed. The person on duty after the victim was Fatty. Fatty had to pee before he took his shift, and it was he who discovered the body when he went to use the toilet. At that moment, Fatty crawled up shakily from the ground. He asked about the middle-aged man. The muscular man sighed, closed the toilet door, and led everyone back to the fireplace. As a newbie, Jiang Cheng had said basically nothing. He had been listening and analyzing. It was mostly the woman with the mole and the muscular man who did all the talking. Through the conversation, Jiang Cheng gleaned that no one would die for no reason in this world. The victim must have triggered some kind of taboo, and this taboo would most likely be the key clue to solving the mission. What did he do that we didn't? The male worker curled up between Jiang Cheng and the innocent girl. He was clearly frightened. He didn't want to die suddenly like the middle-aged man. The innocent girl frowned and said, "Could it be that he had used the first floor toilet? Is that the hidden taboo of this mission? That can't be." Fatty squatted there, hugged his knees, and whispered, "I used that toilet too, when we were searching the house yesterday." Jiang Cheng looked at Fatty and said, "Then you better be careful. Your neck might be thick, but someone can still snap it with enough force." Fatty almost cried. The muscular man was not satisfied with Jiang Cheng's attitude, but he only shook his head. They had all used the first floor toilet, so it made no sense that the middle-aged man was the only one who died. "Maybe it's not our turn yet?" The woman with the mole chuckled darkly. "As you know, the ghost rarely kills consecutively in a short amount of time. The muscular man glared at the woman, but he didn't counter her. So those things do exist. Jiang Cheng's guess was verified. The door that appeared in his dream was supernatural, and it was normal for ghosts to appear in a supernatural event. So, we're fighting ghosts and not humans? The male worker's face paled. Everyone ignored him again. Since someone has died, this also means that this bungalow is our destination. The so-called trip is a lie. The appearance of that bus is to send us here. The innocent girl looked around. The issue is with this bungalow. What can the issue be? The innocent girl stared at Fatty, who asked the question and answered. For example, something bad could have happened here before. The bungalow looked luxurious, and it showed no signs of being damaged. It was indeed suspicious to have it abandoned just like this. Jiang Cheng agreed with the girl's assessment. The muscular man walked to the front door, grabbed the doorknob, and shook it hard. The door didn't budge. We're locked in. The Ma tried thrice before turning around to say, "It looks like this is really our mission venue. Before solving the mission here, we can't leave this place. Since we've confirmed the location, we should split up to look for clues. It's already daylight. There shouldn't be any danger." Regardless, the middle-aged man's death was a warning bell, especially for the three newbies. To increase efficiency, they split into groups with a newbie led by an experienced survivor. Fatty paired up with the muscular man. The male worker stayed with the woman with the mole. Jiang Cheng joined the innocent girl. For the sake of safety, the search zone was limited to the first floor. The muscular man's group would handle the area near the front door and the living room. The woman and the worker would search the garage, which was slightly out of the way. Jiang Cheng and the innocent girl would focus on the kitchen and the dining room. Everyone was within each other's line of sight so they could keep an eye on each other. With the earlier experience, the search this time was more thorough. Half an hour later, the three groups gathered around the fireplace again. By then, the sky was fully bright. "We found this in the garage." The woman took out a thick hemp rope. A section had an eye-catching red on it. The muscular man took it over and gave it a yank. Then, he sniffed it. "It's blood." He looked up at the woman. The woman nodded. "I also found this behind a roll of wood." She opened her left hand. In the middle of her palm was a light green brooch. It had a maple leaf shape. It felt like the owner was a kind girl. A girl was once tied up in the garage. "What did you find?" The woman turned to the muscular man. "Come with me." The man walked to the front door, and the rest followed him. Standing beside the door, the muscular man touched around the wall. Jiang Cheng noticed a light blue switch hidden on the wall. The switch was hidden in the oil painting beside the door. It hid perfectly well in the painted blue sky. When the man pressed the switch, the wall on the right of the door opened a crack. There was a very well-hidden shoe cupboard inside. The cupboard had 3 layers. The third layer was untouched, but the partitions of the first and second layers had been shattered. All kinds of shoes were mixed together. After some arranging, there were 2 pairs of male leather shoes, a pair of red female heels, and 3 pairs of female flats. The woman with the mole picked out 1 pair of flats and placed it beside the heels. These should belong to the same person. The remaining 2 pairs clearly belonged to a younger girl. All the shoe sizes matched. The third layer had a pair of male sports shoes sitting on it. After comparison, it was far smaller than the male leather shoes. From what we can see so far, there was a family of 4 who once lived here. The father, the mother, and a son and a daughter. The innocent girl said, "This coincides with the layout of the bedrooms upstairs. The main bedroom is for the parents, and the 2 smaller bedrooms are for the kids." Jiang Cheng had been on the 2nd floor yesterday. It was, indeed, as the girl said. The separation of the boys' and girls' bedrooms was easy to tell. One was decorated with various plushes. The other had the wall covered with posters of various military weapons. There was even a military magazine on the table. The owner was a military fan. Then, the other two groups turned their attention to Jiang Cheng and the innocent girl. This family didn't have a peaceful family life. We found many broken plates and glasses in the rubbish cans. Some of them have blood on them, Jiang Cheng said. The girl added, there are scratches on the wooden stair railings. We suspect they are left behind by nail scratches. This was a very important clue. They came to the stairs. With the girl pointing it out, they did discover the traces. The muscular man touched it, and his expression shifted. Yes, these are scratch marks. A family of 4, an unhappy family, broken plates, scratch marks, and a tied-up girl. No matter how they parsed it, this looked like a family tragedy. A tormented girl once lived here. Then, what should we do next? The male government worker grumbled, save that poor girl? No matter what happened here in the past, it is already in the past, and the change can't be changed. The woman with the mole said, what we should do is find the truth and complete the mission. But haven't we found the truth? The muscular man shouted angrily, are you dumb? How was the girl tortured? Who was her tormentor? Is the girl still alive? How can we end the mission without knowing these basic details? After being yelled at by the muscular man, the male worker shivered and stopped talking. The innocent girl looked at the male worker with pity. He was too weak and dumb. It was hard for him to survive on the mission. Even though he had survived once, the next time grew. Everyone turned to the source of the sound. Fatty held his stomach embarrassedly. Forget it. We've searched the entire first floor. We should prepare for breakfast. After a high-tension morning, the muscular man was hungry too. As everyone prepared to make lunch, a voice came from behind them. We haven't searched that place. Jiang Cheng pointed at the toilet where the middle-aged man's corpse was. I believe there will be clues there. Hearing that, everyone's expression turned severe. Everyone knew Jiang Cheng was right, but it was hard to persuade themselves to examine the toilet. After all, someone died there. Perhaps entering the toilet would trigger the death taboo. When they searched the place earlier, everyone avoided that place. In the end, rationality won over fear. The muscular man took a deep breath. He's right, there might be clues there. Even though there might be risks, we'll all die if we don't solve the mission. The woman with the mole rarely did not object to it. She clearly understood the situation too, but she still said annoyingly, then, who'd go? Jiang Cheng cut in, who has been to the first floor toilet? Everyone raised their hands. Jiang Cheng counted and then continued, then, everyone has the chance of having triggered the taboo. This is more than just searching for clues. This is also fighting for survival. The innocent girl frowned. You're not saying that we should search the toilet together, right? The muscular man scratched his beard and nodded. The space is very small. If too many people fit in it, it's very hard to move. That's right. Jiang Cheng nodded. So I suggest a group of 2. Then who volunteers? The male worker at the back asked. No one spoke. All right, we can decide it via drawing. It's the fairest for everyone. Jiang Cheng shrugged. Okay, I agree. After some preparations, Jiang Cheng took out a few notes. 2 of them were shorter. Jiang Cheng crumpled all of them before everyone. He placed them in his palm. The ones who get the shorter paper will go into the toilet. Everyone is fine with that, right? Yes, but Fatty looked at the paper rolls and swallowed. Why are there only 5 notes? There are 6 of us. The others noticed this problem and looked at Jiang Cheng with suspicion. Because I'm not participating, Jiang Cheng admitted. Everyone was stunned and then became enraged. The muscular man yelled, why? Who gave you the right? Because I've not used the toilet. You've been here 1 day and 1 night. You drank so much water. How could you not have used the toilet? The male owner yelled loudly as if he had found the vent he needed. You are merely trying to wiggle out of this. Just send him in alone. The woman with the mole stared at Jiang Cheng with unfriendliness. She scoffed. You have to pay to be cunning here. I know, Jiang Cheng said evenly, but I really have not entered the toilet, and I have proof. He raised his finger to point at the window. A wind blew and lifted a corner of the curtain to expose the two bottles behind it. One was full, and the other was half full. They contained light yellow liquid. It shone under the dawn sun. Is that the male worker's eyes widened? That's right. Jiang Cheng nodded and admitted with embarrassment. I was scared to use the toilet because it was too dark, so The muscular man looked at Jiang Cheng with complication. The woman, male worker, the innocent girl. Fatty, you are so cunning. Since Jiang Cheng had not used the toilet and thus hadn't triggered the potential taboo, no one had anything to say. The other five drew their lots. Jiang Cheng observed from the side. It was the muscular man and the male worker who were picked. When the two opened the toilet door, the middle-aged man's corpse was gone. The toilet was small, so it was not possible to hide the dead body of a middle-aged man. This is not our normal world, the woman behind them said. It's normal to encounter inexplicable things. Get used to it. The muscular man didn't look surprised. The poor thing was the male worker. He hugged the door and cried until he was kicked into the toilet by the muscular man. The others waited out. The search was very efficient. They exited the toilet after 5 minutes. The muscular man held a white paper towel. They closed the toilet door and walked to the living room. The muscular man spread the paper open. It had a strand of hair inside. I found this inside the bathtub. It wasn't there yesterday. The muscular man was very careful. He didn't use his hand to touch the hair. The hair was long. It was probably from a female. Could it have belonged to the tortured girl? The innocent girl analyzed the situation. The girl died from torture, and she morphed into a ghost. She was the one who murdered the middle-aged man before dawn. Her analysis was reasonable. That's possible, but we need evidence to back it up. The muscular man's presence weakened after he left the toilet. One could even see cold sweat on his forehead. Jiang Cheng knew the man was not as calm as he presented. We should take a break to eat first, someone suggested. The cooking was left to Fatty, and the innocent girl helped prepare the ingredients. Soon, the delicious meal was served. Even in that situation, the food was cleared. This proved Fatty's capability as a cook. Are you a chef in real life? The muscular man's attitude towards Fatty softened after he sipped the warm soup. No, Fatty scratched his head. I took on odd jobs. I've done quite a lot of things. What is everyone's occupation in real life? It's a kind of destiny for us to gather here. The muscular man put down the bowl and introduced himself again. The name's Manly. I'm a bodyguard. My name is Xiaoyu. I work at an insurance company, the male worker whispered. I'm Chen Xiaomin. I'm currently in college to study law, the innocent girl said. It was the woman with the mole's turn. Everyone thought she'd scoff at them, but she said slowly, you can call me Sister Nguyen. I'm older than all of you. I work, she chuckled mysteriously, I'm in sales. Everyone looked at her. The woman was clearly not a normal merchant. Who knew what kind of stock she was selling? However, no one dwelled on this for long. They all turned to Jiang Cheng. They were more curious about him than they were about Sister Nguyen. Jiang Cheng sat up straight and said directly, my name is Hao Shui. I'm a male model. A model? The innocent girl didn't seem to believe him. At a television station? Jiang Cheng slowly turned around and shot her a meaningful look. I work nights at KTV. Everyone looked at him in shock, but no one said anything. Everyone had their lives to live. Plus, Jiang Cheng did have the qualities to be in that field. The day in this world appeared to be short. They only chatted for a while before the sky darkened again. The muscular man walked to the window and looked around. Then, he walked back. It's not rain clouds. It's really getting dark. As he said, the sky dimmed half an hour later. The group sat around the fireplace. As they roasted the fire, they analyzed the clues they had already gathered. For the sake of safety, they moved the wood they found in the garage to the living room. That way, they didn't need to leave the living room to grab extra wood at night. Fatty sat closest to the fire and would occasionally toss a stick into the fireplace to keep it alive. The fire burned brightly. Chen Xiaoming insisted on her analysis. She believed it was the other family members who tortured the girl to her death. The ghost at the bungalow was the girl. She seemed to be stuck to this hypothesis. Her voice would rise whenever she talked about this. It was a great contrast to her usual, gentle style. Considering the fact that she was studying law, Jiang Cheng believed this was someone with a story. The rounds of discussion yielded no result. Instead, someone started to yawn. It appeared like Jiang Cheng wasn't the only one who didn't have a good night's sleep. Manly stood up to work his numbing legs. He suggested we should go to bed. His suggestion was quickly accepted. Since the middle-aged man died on the first floor, everyone decided to sleep on the second floor. Xie suggested in a whisper that everyone stay in the same room so that they could look after each other, but he was quickly shut down by Sister Nuan. She said they'd risk missing something. He widened his eyes in fear, but he didn't ask what Sister Nuan meant by something. Despite the discussion, everyone avoided the girls' bedroom. They planned to split into two groups. One would sleep in the boys' bedroom and the other in the main bedroom. Sister Nuan and Chen Xiaoming were both females, so they naturally stayed together. They chose the main bedroom because that was where they slept the night before. Fatty insisted on staying with Jiang Cheng. Therefore, they took the boys' bedroom. The remainder were Manly and Xie. Both of them wanted to stay with Sister Nuan because she had more experience and thus would provide them with a higher survivability. In the end, Sister Nuan and Chen Xiaoming chose Manly. They closed the door after they entered the room, leaving Xie alone in the corridor. The chill winds blew. He hugged himself as goosebumps rose on his arms. He jogged to Jiang Cheng's bedroom and knocked rapidly on the door. "It's me. Open up." As Jiang Cheng slowly examined the room, he said, "Didn't you want to push me alone into the toilet? You can take the room next door." Xie looked at the room next door. The door appeared to move in the wind like something was about to jump out. It was the girl's bedroom. Xie was so scared. He almost cried. "I'm sorry. I was wrong. I shouldn't have said that. Please forgive me." Jiang Cheng sat down after he looked over the room. He twisted off the cap of a water bottle and took a light sip. He asked in a teasing tone, "What did you call me again?" "Boss Hao. Boss Hao." Jiang Cheng nodded with pleasure. "Boss Hao. Boss Hao." Fatty. Jiang Cheng sighed in satisfaction. He waved his hand to signal Fatty to open the door. As the door opened, Xie rushed into the room like the wind. Then, he slammed the door closed. Xie didn't even dare to breathe too loudly. He curled in the corner silently, afraid that Jiang Cheng would throw him out. "You." Jiang Cheng raised his chin at Xie. "Take the bed." "Me?" Xie said in disbelief. This was a single bedroom, so the bed was a single bed. In other words, only one of the three of them could sleep in the bed. The other two had to sleep on the ground or share the couch. He didn't think he'd get the bed. Last night, he wasn't offered the bed in the master bedroom either. "Do you not want it?" No. Xie was shocked. "Thank you, boss." "Brother, then where do I sleep?" Fatty asked Jiang Cheng. Jiang Cheng was irked that Fatty didn't call him boss, but he still replied, "You'll take the couch, and I'll sleep on the ground." Fatty stood beside the bed and stared at Xie, who was lying in bed, his eyes filled with resentment. Then, he turned around to tell Jiang Cheng, "I think I can sleep in the bed." Jiang Cheng spread the mattress on the ground and wiggled into position. "No, you cannot." Jiang Cheng and Fatty had to stay up to keep watch. Neither of them trusted the one in the bed. Jiang Cheng snatched the watch from Xie since he wouldn't need it. He made a deal with Fatty that Fatty would stay up for the first 3 hours, and he would keep vigil for the later 3. "Then, what do you need me to do?" Xiaoyu wrapped himself in the blanket and poked his head out to ask, "I need you to sleep." Xiaoyu shrunk back. Even his head was gone. He turned into a cocoon. Even though the bungalow had electricity, the supply was not stable. The lights above them flickered and would make this static sound. This was perfect for a horror movie. Jiang Cheng had no choice but to turn the lights off. They could see a general situation of the room using the moonlight that filtered through the window. Fatty lay on the couch. He was fine during the first hour, but his eyelids started to fall. Even though he knew it was dangerous, he couldn't control them. In the end, his head tilted to the side, and he slumbered. It was a heavy sleep, but it shouldn't be long. At least when he woke up, the room was still dark. He rubbed his eyes and felt afraid. Someone slept beside the bed. It was Jiang Cheng. He was still a cocoon on the bed. Everything looked normal. Even though Fatty was tired, he didn't dare to go back to sleep. To make matters worse, he suddenly wanted to use the toilet. The bedroom had an attached toilet, and it was 5 meters away from Fatty. It was very small, and it was cornered off with half-transparent glass. However, ever since the middle-aged man died in the toilet, Fatty had a mental and physical resistance to using the toilet. He didn't even want to go near it. He suddenly remembered Jiang Cheng's solution: water bottles. However, he soon sunk into a new pool of despair. Jiang Cheng tossed all the bottles into the trash can before he went to bed, and the trash can. Fatty took a big gulp. The trash can stood quietly before the toilet door. Fatty had no choice but to slowly move towards the toilet. Every step was dangerous. He finally got close enough to the trash can. He immediately took the empty bottle out. However, before he could cheer for something, he saw something from the corner of his eye. He turned his head around and saw an arm reach out from the glass toilet door. In the main bedroom, Manly suddenly sat up from the couch. Then, he ran to the door and put his ear on it. "What's wrong?" Sister Nguyen and Chen Xiaoming sat up in bed. To prevent any accidents, they didn't remove their clothes before getting into bed. They didn't dare to sleep too soundly too. Manly hushed them. Sister Nguyen and Chen Xiaoming instantly shut up. The air seemed to freeze. About a minute later, they heard a soft creaking sound. A door had opened. Several seconds later, slow footsteps came from the corridor. Every step sounded like it landed in the water. Accompanying it was a strange friction sound. It sounded like someone was dragging something heavy across the floor. The footsteps walked in a direction before disappearing. Manly and the two women's faces paled. The footsteps disappeared down the corridor. The end of the corridor was a locked room and nothing else. Something must have happened. Who was the victim this time? Was it the chef Fatty, the cowardly Xiaoyu, or the strange Hao Shui? In the other bedroom, inside the narrow toilet, Fatty widened his eyes, and his body couldn't stop shaking. He couldn't make any sound because a hand had been clamped over his mouth. Jiang Cheng knelt beside Fatty. They were very close. It was Jiang Cheng's hand that detained Fatty. Both of them stared outside the toilet door. The bedroom door was left open. Moonlight showered through the window. The bed was empty. Once he remembered the scene he saw, Fatty couldn't stop shaking. The figure laying on the floor beside the bed slowly stood up. The animation was awkward, and the figure was abnormally bloated. This was clearly not Jiang Cheng. Jiang Cheng was inside the toilet. He was the one who dragged Fatty into the toilet and covered his mouth. The two knelt on the ground. They didn't dare to make any sound as they looked through the semi-transparent glass. The large human shadow crawled under the blanket through the exposed corner. It was unknown what had happened to Xiaoyu. Despite the human shadow's extreme movement, Xiaoyu didn't respond or react in any way. The bed rocked silently, and the room suddenly became quiet. Jiang Cheng and Fatty didn't move. Eventually, the shadow crawled back out from the blanket. Then, it took gradual steps towards the bedroom door. The sound of water was exceptionally loud in the silent night. Through the thin moonlight, Jiang Cheng saw the shadow dragging the blanket, and inside the blanket, he turned to look at the bed. It was empty. Fatty was so scared. His large body trembled so much that Jiang Cheng almost lost control of him. Jiang Cheng had no choice but to pinch him. Fatty's face reddened, but at least he stopped shaking. After the sound of water and dragging disappeared outside the door, Jiang Cheng and Fatty still didn't move. They stayed in that pose until they heard the bedroom door open again. The first to enter was Manly. Behind him was Sister Nguyen and Chen Xiaoming. They stuck close to the wall and carefully entered the room. Jiang Cheng finally let go of Fatty. The two exited the toilet. Fatty's lips were still trembling, so it was up to Jiang Cheng to relay what had happened. He was sleeping when he was woken up by this chill. In his sleepy fog, he discovered a dark shadow underneath the bed Xiaoyu was sleeping on. The shadow was on all fours with its joints twisted abnormally. It was slowly crawling out from under the bed. Jiang Cheng didn't make any sound as he quickly stood up to hide in the toilet. Therefore, the person Fatty saw sleeping on the ground beside the bed was not Jiang Cheng but the shadow that had just crawled out. After the real Jiang Cheng hid in the toilet, while Fatty was distracted, he dragged the man in. Chen Xiaoming switched on the lights in the room. After the lights came on, everyone saw the mess on the bed and the puddle of water on the ground. The water spread from the bed to the bedroom door. The group walked to the door and realized there were water puddles in the corridor as well. The water continued until it ended before the locked door. Was carried away by the ghost while inside the blanket. The thought was horrifying. No one had any hope that he was still alive. Manly tried to suppress the chill in his heart as he turned to Jiang Cheng. "Did you manage to see the ghost's appearance?" Fatty shook his head. He said the room was too dark, and he was. Everyone knew that he was scared. After all, he was a newbie. It was understandable. Just as Sister Nguyen was about to say something, Jiang Cheng suddenly said, "It's that girl." "What?" "The girl from the family of 4. Manly was shocked. "How can you tell?" After they reached the bungalow, they had not seen any pictures, so they should have no idea what the family looked like. Jiang Cheng lifted his head and looked at the locked door at the end of the corridor. The ghost was wearing a pair of female casual shoes. "I've seen them in the shoe closet before," Chen Xiaoming said with a pale face. "It looks like our hypothesis was right. The other family members tortured the girl and then killed her. Now, she is back for revenge. We have nothing to do with her death. Why did she target?" Fatty thought back to what had happened earlier and was still scared. Sister Nguyen scoffed. "Are you going to reason with a ghost?" "Enough." Manly cut in. "Stop talking. I'm going to go there to take a look." "Who's coming with me?" He was talking about the locked room at the end of the corridor. The ghost disappeared before that door with Xiaoyu. This was a very important clue. In the end, everyone decided to go together. It would be more dangerous if they split up. Plus, based on what Manly and Sister Nguyen said, the ghosts rarely killed consecutively. Different from before, Manly only pushed the door lightly, and it opened. The lock had been unlocked. Behind the door was a small room. Since there was no window, they could only see a bit of the room through the light in the corridor. The room was about the boy's bedroom. It was dark, and no one entered it. Jiang Cheng walked forward and searched the wall near the wall. Following a click, the lights in the room came on. Even though they were prepared, when they saw the room, they still sucked in a cold breath. There was a rolled-up blanket in the middle of the room. A pair of feet dangled out weakly. Several seconds later, Sister Nguyen walked forward to slowly unroll the blanket. "Ah!" Chen Xiaoming covered her mouth. Xiaoyu was snuggled inside the blanket. His eyes bulged out, and his pupils widened. The muscles on his face spasmed. It was clear that he was dead. His hands froze in the shape of claws, guarding his chest. The veins on the back of his hands popped. Jiang Cheng walked forward to pull up a corner of Xiaoyu's shirt. His body was covered in wounds. They looked like whip wounds. There were a few spots of blunt force traumas as well. His two hands were locked with handcuffs. Sister Nguyen found a backpack nearby. The backpack had a vibe, a dagger, handcuffs, ropes, and candles of varying sizes. After comparison, the rope inside the backpack was similar to the rope found in the garage. Fatty stared at the bloody tools, and his voice trembled. Was Xiaoyu tortured to death? No. Jiang Cheng stood up. The wounds on his body are too uniform. This means this was no struggle. In other words, he was already unconscious when he was tortured. I believe he was scared to death and then dragged here to be tortured. Corpse mutilation? Jiang Cheng nodded. I believe so. Brother, can you not be so calm? Fatty almost cried. If I weren't with you, based on your reaction, I would have suspected you were behind this. Jiang Cheng said righteously, nonsense. Even though my workplace also provides this kind of service, it is built on the basis of mutual agreement. Plus, we wouldn't go so far. Seeing the topic was about to be led astray, Manly quickly jumped out to remind them to look for clues. However, Jiang Cheng pointed at the shoes Xiaoyu was wearing. This is not right. He wasn't wearing these shoes earlier. Everyone's gaze moved to the shoes. It was a pair of sports shoes. It was very common. It didn't match Xiaoyu's appearance. Plus, the shoes looked too big for him. Manly grabbed the knife Sister Nguyen found in the backpack. He knelt on the ground and used the knife to cut through the shoelaces. He removed the shoes. Then, something shocking happened. There was another pair of shoes inside the sports shoes. This was a pair of compressed leather shoes. His feet were bent out of shape. It felt like his feet had been broken before the ghost put the sports shoes on him. Clearly, the leather shoes were Xiaoyu's own shoes. Is this the shoes of the boy? Chen Xiaoming looked at the shoes and said, but the pair of sports shoes we found in the first floor living room. Jiang Cheng knew the thing that troubled her. Even though the two pairs of sports shoes looked similar, the sizes were so different. They didn't seem to belong to the same person. Is the shoe closet used to store the shoes the boy has had over the years? This pair is the one he wore when he was older. Jiang Cheng thought about it and said, it's possible, but I don't think the chance of that is high. We've searched the whole bungalow. Did any of you find other shoes with this size? Everyone was silent. Then, Sister Nguyen asked carefully, so you mean there are 3 males in this bungalow, the father and his 2 sons?